Good afternoon, Faith Squad. Welcome back to my channel. Now, I know it's been a while since I've been on here. I haven't really shown my face, so I definitely have to give you guys a life update and just let you know what I'm doing. Right now, I am currently working as a preschool teacher, and that will be a separate video that I can do for you guys, just basically teaching you how I was able to manifest my dream job. I've always had a calling working with children, and I absolutely love what I do. So if you have a career in mind or a business that you want to start and you need some tips on how to manifest that, and just to how to pray, just to pray into existence, I can definitely walk you through it. But that will be another separate video. So the reason for me coming on here today, I'm going to be talking about something very serious. Now, I did talk about this topic a little bit. If you look at my other videos in the past about me being targeted and just me going through things with narcissists. So I want to talk about this video in particular, which will be about the narcissistic smear campaign. Now, my channel is not going to be specifically talking about narcissistic people because I'm going to be honest, I am someone that has gone through a lot of abuse with narcissistic people, and it's really very hard for me to relive it and for me to talk about it. And the only reason why I'm talking about it is just to bring awareness to what will happen if you do come across a narcissist, because I never want anyone to go through any of the pain that I've gone through throughout my life. And if I can avoid someone from feeling the same pain that I felt, then that's what I'm willing to do. Be an advocate and speak out about it, just so you guys can just be aware that there are narcissistic predators in this world. And it doesn't matter who they are. They can be a coworker, they can be a family member, it could be someone you're in a relationship with, it could be a stranger. They're everywhere pretty much, and there's no escaping it. So I'm going to try to definitely be transparent without telling too much, because I realize that me being very open with people and telling a lot of my business, it makes me more of a target for narcissistic people, and I don't want that. So I'm going to try my best to, maybe do a couple of videos explaining my experiences and giving you tips, but I just don't want to be targeted by these people. And, it's just terrible. So my first experience with a narcissist, I would say it happened a couple of years ago, not with my fiance that I'm currently with now. I don't believe he's a narcissist at all. It started with the guy that I was with before him. This was a guy that I fell in love with, and I was in a relationship with him after college. And that's when I really started to research what a narcissist was. And I'm gonna be honest, now looking back on it, I can evaluate my family and then maybe some of the friends that I had, and I realized that he wasn't the only narcissist in my life, unfortunately. But I knew this was before narcissism really became popular. It's like I knew that something was off with my relationship with him after I graduated from college. Of course, there's different stages of there's different stages that they put you through. So he started with the love bombing stage. So I just want to make you guys aware that if you find somebody who you're interested in and they immediately just start love bombing you. So basically love bombing is just telling you everything you want to hear, trying to tell you that they want to marry you right away and they don't know you, and telling you that they have so many feelings for you, and they haven't even taken the time out to get to know what your favorite color is. Something is very wrong with that. Anytime you meet someone and they start to just tell you everything you want to hear, and it doesn't seem genuine, it just seems like it's very fake and forced, watch out for that. Do not fall into that trap. because I feel like when somebody genuinely is trying to get to know you, they would take their time with you. They wouldn't just immediately say they're falling for you right away like that. That's not normal, you know? So those were some things that I noticed that he did. Also, once he got me, you know, once he got me to fall in love with him, then that's when he started discarding me. So basically, he would just like be very abusive with his words, you know, just saying just horrible things to me, like unimaginable things that I'm not even going to repeat, but it was like horrible, and it just kept on going on and on and on, where anytime he would get mad or anytime he couldn't get his way, when things weren't going the way he wanted them to go, that's when he would like start being verbally abusive to me. And it got to the point where it's like my self-esteem was kind of low at that point, because it's like, just imagine falling in love with somebody, and then, you know, you think they're your everything and you love everything about them, and then they just start to verbally abuse you. Now, that's another thing about narcissists too, that they're very charming. So they will appear to be everything that you've been looking for. So watch out for that. Like, sometimes that saying goes, when someone comes into your life and it's too good to be true, most of the time it is too good to be true. Now, I'm not saying there aren't good people out here, because there are, but just watch out for those people who are like wolf in sheep's clothing. They appear to love you and they appear to have your back, but, you know, behind closed doors, it's a whole different scenario. Especially when you tell them no, or when things don't go their way, you'll see them explode, and you'll see just a whole different side of them come out. And when I started to see this abusive side of him, it was like Jekyll and Hyde, you know, it was crazy. And then it would be, one minute he would go from Jekyll and Hyde and just, you know, just being very abusive, and then the next minute he would be charming and buying me gifts and taking me out to eat and just doing a lot of nice things for me and just telling me how much he loved me. That was love bombing. So, and I just always felt in my heart that something was off about him. So I just remember one day praying to God, like, Lord, just show me in a dream if he's not right for me. Can you please just reveal it to me in some way? So I am someone with spiritual gifts. Like, I've been this way since I was a little girl. Like, I've always had visions and dreams. My grandmother's the same way, where she would have visions of things. And those are going to be some more story times that I tell you guys, just some of the things that I've experienced. But yeah, I just prayed. I was like, Lord, just show me if he's not the one that you want me to be with. So this, I will never forget it. Like, it was just so scary. And this was like right after he started verbally abusing me. That's when I had this dream, and I was laying right next to him in bed, and I had a dream where I saw him and his friends, and they were in a pit of snakes. It was like thousands of snakes in this pit, and him and the friend were inside the pit with the snakes, and I was outside of the pit. I was nowhere near the snakes. And as soon as I seen him in the pit with the snakes, I was like, can you come out? Like, come out of that pit. Like, I need you to come with me, because I was frightened and I was scared and I was ready to go somewhere safe. And I was just trying to convince him, like, look, I love you. You need to get out of that pit of snakes. What if one of them bites you? Like, you need to come with me so we can be safe together. And he just laughed at me and was refusing to go. So at that point, it's like I had no other choice but to protect myself, and that was to leave out the room where the snakes were. So then I went inside of a separate room, and it was just all white everywhere. And then it was this huge snake that came out of the room that he was in, and the snake just tried to scare me. And I just remember the snake was like looking into my eyes as if he was hypnotizing me. And the moment he was looking into my eyes, that's when I started to feel like all those feelings of pain and hurt that I would feel when the narcissist would like discard me and verbally abused me, I started to feel doubt, shame, fear. I started to just question my self-worth, you know. And then all of a sudden, I just called on Jesus' name. I said, Jesus. And that's when the snake completely went away and it disappeared. And that's when I woke up and I heard the voice of God. And he was telling me, you know, you asked me for an answer. And I gave you the answer. So what are you going to do about it? And I was like, oh my gosh, like this was God showing me that this man is not right for me. So I looked over to my left and he wakes up all of a sudden. And I'm just like shook, you know, to the point where it's like, it's hard for me to even say anything to him. And then I look into his eyes and I'm like, you know what? I just had a dream about you and I saw you in a pit of snakes with your friend that you always go out with. And he was like, oh, don't worry about that. That's nothing. That doesn't mean anything. You know I love you. Now tell me why after I had that dream, it went from just being verbal abuse to being physical abuse. So it started with him just staying out late at night till 6 in the morning. He would come home. He, you know, and this was when I was younger. I was in my 20s, so I was on the passive side. I can definitely say that, and I lacked a lot of self-love. I was still young, you know, how you're in your 20s and you feel like you have life figured out and can't nobody tell you anything. You're grown, but I was in for a rude awakening because I had a lot of growing to do, you know, in the situation. So I allowed a lot of the things too. So anytime you're in a relationship, it's always good to evaluate yourself. I'm not saying to victim blame. Don't blame yourself. Don't beat up on yourself. But it's always good to see what you could have done better. And I feel like what I could have done better was I should have had more self-respect. And I should have had enough self-love to walk away from anyone disrespecting me and anyone who is not for me. You know what I'm saying? If you can't respect me, and that's how I am now, in any relationship, friendship, it doesn't matter. With my family, with my friends, if you cannot respect me and treat me with the love and the respect that I deserve, then we need to part ways, you know, because it's just unacceptable. Like, I just don't accept that anymore in my life. But back to what I was saying, you know, he would stay out late at night. And one time I just remember going out with a friend and I just ended up spending the night over that friend's house. I was calling him and letting him know that I was spending the night over her house. Her boyfriend happened to be there as well. And I just explained it to him, you know, I'm going to just stay here for the night. And he wouldn't answer his phone. You know, I kept calling him. He wouldn't answer his phone. So finally, we get there in the morning. My friend drops me off. And he was like completely crazy. Like, he was like going off on me, calling me names. And this was the first time he just like punched a hole in a wall. He was just so angry and so furious. So it was just crazy because it was like a double standard. Like, it's okay for you to stay out at night, but I'm just staying at night with a friend and this is how you treat me. Like, you just go crazy. Like, it was just crazy. I was like, I can't believe that I'm in this type of relationship because I wasn't raised like this. And that's one of the things, like, I would think to myself, like, how did this happen to me? Because I would always tell myself that I would never be that woman. Like, I would never be that woman that was in an abusive relationship because I know my self-worth and I would never allow a man to do this and that. But it's easy to say what you wouldn't do until you're in that situation. Like, when you're in a relationship with a narcissist, it's not easy to escape. It's not easy to leave. You know, it's like they just keep you in a cycle to where it's like you're afraid to leave because their main objective is to destroy you. So if you're in a relationship with a narcissist, I'm telling you to get out. Any situation with any narcissist, or go no contact. I know some people have kids with narcissists, so you can't just go no contact. but try to keep low contact as much as possible, because I feel like it's a demonic spirit, and I feel like that spirit is Jezebel. Since then, I've been doing so much research on narcissism for years. Like, I know a lot about it. And I really feel like it's a demonic spirit inside of these people. And they go after people who are people of God. If you have any type of light within you, you're a great person, you're sweet, you have a lot of love in your heart. You have a lot of compassion and empathy. They will target you. They don't go after people. I don't feel like they really target people who are in darkness. They don't target other narcissists. I feel like they go after people who are in the light and people like who are good. You know what I'm saying? Because again, they want to destroy you. They want to ruin your life. That's what their whole objective is. It's like they want to snatch your soul and just take all the good out of you. You know what I'm saying? But by the grace of God, I'm covered by the blood of Jesus. And in my grandmother's prayers, my prayers, that's how I was able to leave that situation. But it really had a strong hold on me to the point where it's like I will always make excuses for him. It's like I didn't want to leave, even though, I knew that it wasn't the right situation for me. And finally, what the tipping point was when he started being physically abusive to me. So he was like mentally abusive, emotionally, and then it got physical, where it was like one time where he just started hitting me. We were arguing. I don't remember what it was, but most of the time when we argue, it was always petty stuff. Because they are very petty people too. Like, they just pick arguments and pick fights over every little thing. You cannot please them. You cannot make them happy. And that's how I felt in a relationship. It was like nothing I did could ever make him happy. Nothing could ever make him satisfied. Like, I would stay up late at night cooking for him. Like, I would just be going out of my way to please him and to make him happy. And nothing was ever enough. So when he hit me in the face, he was just hitting me in the face like multiple times with a pillow. And I'm not talking about one of those soft pillows, like one of those hard pillows. And he was just hitting me. He just kept hitting me, like beating me in the face with the pillow to the point where my face turned red. And then I was like crying and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, I'm in love with a monster, but it's like I was going through all this abuse and no one really knew what was going on behind closed doors, because again, he would put on a mask in front of everyone, in front of his mom, in front of his friends, in front of my family. He would just appear to be so charming, and some people believed him. Some people really thought that he was so nice and just such a great guy. But then behind closed doors, it was like a different story. The only person I really think that was catching on to him was his mom. His mom knows him. Come on now. Your mother knows who you are. So his mom did warn me one time. I do remember this. And his mom was saying that he didn't have any respect for women. And I should have took that as a red flag, because anytime someone's mom is telling me, look, the person you're dating my son, and he doesn't respect women, that's when that should have been, a light bulb should have went off in my head. Like, look, you need to leave this person. But again, it was like, I was just like so stuck on him. And so it was just difficult for me to leave. So then the last part of the relationship where things just completely ended was when he got home. Like, I suspected him of cheating on me. Like, I never got evidence of whether he did or didn't, but his behavior did act like he did make me feel like he was cheating on me. And then I did find out that narcissists are cheaters, so I wouldn't put it behind him. But he just came home one day. It was some dishes in the sink, and he just went crazy. He started throwing the dishes everywhere, and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, really? I was like so shocked that somebody could just be so crazy over some dishes. And then he just, once again, he started back with the abuse. He started verbally abusing me. And then he started grabbing all my stuff out the closet and just threw it out the door. It was like horrible. I was like crying. I was in tears, I just couldn't believe it. Like, that this was my reality. telling me that he didn't want me no more and telling me just horrible things, And then finally he hit me. He put his hands on me, pushed me down to the ground. And then I just went to security. I had went ahead and I ran down to get security. Then when security came, of course, he calmed down. But security helped me with my stuff. And then when we got alone, the security officer was like, you know what, you deserve a Purple Heart, because I don't know how you dealt with this man. Like, this man is crazy. Like, he even treats some of the leasing people badly. He's just a horrible person. So, after I left him, I'm going to be honest, he would try to reel me back in and say, apologize to me, tell me he was sorry. But when I went home, I told my grandmother and my grandfather, who are pastor and wife of the church. And, they raised me, and I finally opened up to them and told them what he was doing and how he was abusing me. And they was like, do not go back to him. He does not love you. That's not the type of relationship that we want you to be in. And I'm going to be honest, like, I didn't go back officially. I just decided to move. That's when I got the opportunity to move to Texas and to restart my life, because I had a feeling that if I went back to him, something was telling me, if you go back to him, then you may not end up alive, because you hear so many stories of domestic violence. You hear so many stories of women who do not survive and they don't make it out alive. So I was like, you know what? I can't go back to him. Like, I can't do this to myself. Like, I can't do this to my family, because the last thing I want to do is end up on the news and they're burying me, and, I just can't do this. So with God's strength, I moved to Texas, and that's how I just restarted my life. But that wasn't the end of me coming across Narcissist. But after that situation, it was times where he would try to reel me back in, and then I remember the last straw was when we went out to eat. Like, he reeled me back in and was like, let's go out to eat. So we went out to eat to a buffet. And then after the buffet, he was like calling me all type of names and just degrading me and humiliating me. And that's when it was the last straw, because at that point I had moved to Texas anyways. And I was just like, I'm never going back to him. Like, he's just a horrible person. And that's when I began my journey to research, because I am the research queen. I'm somebody who, I'm a firm believer, knowledge is power. Like, I like to just find out things and just keep my mind stimulated and just know what's going on in the world, And that's so I can be a help to myself, but I can also be a help to other people as well. So I started researching narcissism, and it really wasn't that big as it is now. Now I know way more than what I knew back then, but I just started going on the narcissistic abuse groups on Facebook, and then I just start reading other people's stories. I was like, hey, that sounds exactly like what I went through. And I would just look at different videos and stuff like that, and I would say, you know what, you made the right decision to leave that relationship. So this goes out to anyone who you may even suspect that you're in a relationship with a narcissist, or if you're dealing with a family member who's a narcissist, because I am going to touch on that as well in another video. If you suspect it, I'm going to leave some links to some of the pages that I have looked at and researched that really helped me, because it's never okay to stay in a relationship with someone who's mentally, physically, verbally abusing you. Like, do not stay in that situation. You know what I'm saying? Because I was just blessed enough to leave out there with my self-esteem. Like, it did take me a while. It took me a couple of years to rebuild myself, because he had really tried to break me. And for a while he did break me, but I did not allow him to just take over my life and to consume me. So I'm going to definitely leave some resources. And if you are a victim of domestic violence, don't ever feel like you have to stay in that situation. Like, the best advice I'm going to give you is to love yourself. No, first find God. Because when you find God, you find yourself. I'm getting teared up. The best love that I've ever received was from the Lord. There's no man or no human on this earth who could ever give me the love that he has given me. He's the reason why I'm still here to this day. So I'm telling you guys, find God. And if you already have God, find yourself. Love on yourself. Because I feel like they also target people who they feel lack self-love. Like if there's any parts about you where you feel down about, and you're looking in the mirror and you're like, I'm not enough, silence that voice. I'm also going to give you a resource to Cassandra Mack. Her books that I read, she has a lot of self-love books. So just do that. Like, get closer with God, get into church, read your Bible. Definitely get the self-help books. There's an app called I Am that gives you affirmations to just believe in yourself. I am beautiful. I am amazing. I'm great. I am awesome, So look into that, because trust me, if you haven't gone through this before, you don't want to. It's like, it took me years to rebuild myself, you guys, and it was not easy. And then I'm still having to rebuild myself to this day, because I'm dealing with narcissistic family members. Like, I've moved back to St. Louis, and it's like an infestation of narcissists down here. So I'm constantly having to get these people off my back. So I'm telling you, if you guys have gone through this, do not stay in a situation like this. Leave. And if you don't have the strength to leave, just try to lean on God for help as much as you can, because when someone tries to destroy everything that you are, and they try to take everything that makes you good, and they try to tell you that you're bad and that you would never amount to anything, and they try to destroy you, that's a demon. That's a demon. There's no other way to explain it. That's a demonic spirit that's sent here to destroy you. So leave. Please leave. So I'm going to leave my information down below. If you guys ever need anyone to talk to, I'm here for you. You can email me. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram. Any advice. I'm not a professional. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a counselor, but I have been through enough to where I feel like I can give sound advice. And so, yes, reach out to me if you need any help. And I hope you guys stay prayed up and just learn from my story. Do not stay with a narcissist.